We marked the 20th anniversary of the beginning of the war in Iraq. It took just under 7 weeks to wrap up the initial military operations. But the last American combat troops did not leave Iraq until nearly 9 years later, in December 2011. Vice President Dick Cheney joined the broadcast just before the invasion, and Bob Schieffer asked him how long he expected the war to last.
And I think it'll go relatively quickly. But you
weeks,
can't
months?
count on that. Weeks rather than months. There's always the possibility of complications that you can't anticipate, but I have great confidence in our troops. The really challenging part of it, to some extent, may come in the aftermath. Once the military segment is over and we move to trying to stand up a new government and turn over to the Iraqi people.
Our Charlie D'Agata was in Iraq for CBS News when the war began. He went back to bring us this report.
Shock and awe. The U.S. military's term and intent for the aerial bombardment that began the war. But the takedown of Saddam Hussein's regime triggered a savage insurgency and a brutal sectarian conflict. A tragedy that cost the lives of hundreds of thousands of Iraqis and nearly 4,500 U.S. service members. This is Baghdad today. Gone are most of the cement blast walls and barbed wire. Amid the capital's bustling marketplaces and cafes, something else has returned, a sense of optimism. But threats to Iraq's security remain, not least from its powerful neighbor, Iran, which continues to increase its influence, with political parties and powerful paramilitary groups tied to Tehran. All across Baghdad, you'll find billboards and banners like this, honoring the memory of Qasem Soleimani, the top Iranian general accused of killing hundreds of American soldiers during the war and considered such a threat. He was killed in a U.S. airstrike here in the city in 2020. We put the question to U.S. Ambassador Alina Romanowski, who's visiting Washington, D.C.
But Iran has proven in the past to make this a very difficult place to operate in.
The Iranians have made it a difficult place to operate and have contributed to some of the insecurity, but I do think that this is a sovereign decision that the Iraqis need to sort out with their neighbor.
There is a lot to sort out. Iraq is recovering from decades of war and sanctions, and widespread corruption continues to plague the economy despite booming oil revenues. But Ambassador Romanowski believes Iraqi leadership has turned a corner.
I think you have a government that is committed to, improving the lives and the services for Iraqi people.
Iraqis tell us what they want most is for this fragile peace to remain and hope that prosperity will come.